hit record. And then welcome Rhonda. So this is Rhonda Layton. She is our guest speaker. She's going to be talking about the 4 intangibles of success. She's a 2014 5-star Diamond Elite coach. She prides herself on being a pillar of consistency, and I can say that because I got to sit next to her on our flight to leadership. So I can vouch for that. I can tell. She's a Success Club 10 All-Star and Success Club legend. Her team is Team Dynamo, and she is a lover of all things Shanti fitness. Another reason why I really, really, really like her. She's married and has 2 boys. She was able to leave her full-time career back in 2011. And so she really tries to market to those people who are very similar to her, that are quitters, is what she kind of termed them, that they're ready to they're done and they're ready to quit. So she enjoys running marathons, speaking at her local Toastmasters group, and being an actor mom to her youngest son. So he's an actor, and I was seeing his pictures from, what was it, The Lion King here lately. So that was pretty cool. She's also known as Motivation Rhonda, and she loves to speak life into others and to be a catalyst for positive life changes. So I'm super, super excited that we get to have her with us today and can't wait to learn. So Rhonda, take it away, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much. I have to tell you a little secret. So about a month ago, we were on the plane to San Diego for leadership. And I found out that I was sitting next to Natalie, and I'd never officially met her. And I got really excited because she'd been my girl crush for several years, because I thought, I think you're fantastic. And I'd actually followed you. And so I think it was definitely divine intervention that we were on the plane together, and we learned so much from each other. And the one thing that we learned is that our leadership styles are so different, but sometimes it's great to hear different perspectives of different coaches to know that there is no one right way. There's several ways that you can be successful in this business. And so today I'm probably going to talk to you about something that maybe you don't get, you don't hear as much, but for me, it's how I've become successful and how I lead my team. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on my story, and then I'm going to go into the 4 intangibles of success. I actually shared this at Super Saturday, I guess a month ago. I went to Minneapolis. I live in Dallas, but I went up to the Minneapolis one. And it's funny because I never really think I have a very powerful story. My story is kind of boring. Like I said, I'm a pillar of consistency. And so about a month ago, I was having lunch with one of my diamond coaches, and I said, I just don't really know what my story is. Not that I don't know what my story is, but I don't know what's powerful about it. And she looked at me and she said, Rhonda, you do know what it is, right? And she said, your strength is empowerment. You empower people. And I thought, wow, that is true. That's what I do. I empower people. That's why I'm Motivation Rhonda. And so today, I want you to leave this call feeling empowered by the 4 intangibles of success, which I feel have truly grown my business from nothing to being very successful. So my Beachbody story actually goes back to 2009. I was getting ready to run a marathon in Washington, D.C., and my husband couldn't come. So my brother, I asked him to come out there with me, and of course he did, because he thinks traveling is awesome. And the day before the marathon, we are in our hotel room, and he starts doing this crazy exercise, and he's like, and this is my brother who did not work out at all. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, this is an awesome program called P90X. You should try it. I'm like, whatever. I run marathons. It's silly. And so, the next day I ran the marathon, and he went home, I went home, and like 90 days later, he's like, Rhonda, you need to try this program called P90X. And I had seen some pictures of him, and I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck happened to you? And he had started to not only lose the hair off his chest, but he started to really trim down, and he was looking really, really fantastic. And I still was reluctant. I was like, 90 days, then you're just going to go back to your old ways. I'm not into it. So he came back to me again. He said, Rhonda, I found about this program called Insanity, and it's for crazy people like you. And then he showed me a picture of Shanti, and I was like, I'm in. I absolutely would do this for 60 days. You don't have to convince me anymore. I can watch him every day for 60 days. Sold. So I did. And so I'm just the type of person that when I commit to something, I'm going to go all in. 60 days. It was like I followed the nutrition program to a T. I did the program. I was still continuing to run, but I thought I was pretty fit when I started, but I lost 12 pounds. I lost 2 inches off my waist, went down 4% body fat, and I was in the best shape of my life. And so is that at the time, it's obvious that I wanted to become a coach. But it was also at this time in my life, I was in this kind of a dark period of, I hated my job. I was the type of person that would drive to work every day and just have that pit in my stomach because I hated where I was going, because I wasn't even able to take my son to school in the morning. And that was probably the most ugly feeling that I had felt. And so I saw very early on Beachbody as my opportunity to be successful in this so that I could leave that job and be able to spend more time with my son. So that brings me to my first point, which is my first intangible of success, which is vision. Beachbody, like I said, it immediately became this vision for me where I could potentially have the resources to quit my job and be able to spend more time with my family. So I worked so hard that first year. I did whatever it took. I made sacrifices. I stopped watching TV. I was still running a lot and training for marathons, but I was listening to national calls. I was plugged into everything. I was listening to Tony Robbins and whatever I could possibly do to work on myself to make this work. And so I became no longer sit on the couch and watch American Idol Rhonda. I was now Motivation Rhonda. And I did everything that was asked of me. And I didn't really have an upline. My brother was, but we had started at the same time. So I just tuned into everything I possibly could, and I connected. I went to events. Everything it said that I should do, I did, because I wanted to be successful. And so within 9 months, I was actually able to leave my full-time job at the time, and I went to work part-time, making more sacrifices. But what that enabled me to do was fulfill that first vision of being able to walk my son to school in the morning. And I was able to do that every single day, which was so amazing. And so that was, that vision fulfilled. And so now I needed to create a new vision. You have to create a vision so strong that, it should make you cry. Like I still talk about it to this day. I'm choked up again. Whenever I think about taking my son to school, it was so important to me. And so when I fulfilled that, I had to think, well, now what? Now what I want. And so one thing I planted, I planted the seed several years ago, is I wanted to be able to create this team where I could take them on a retreat and do amazing things for other people. And that seed was planted 4 years ago, and I'm going to get to that later as I finish. But I had my first ever diamond retreat this weekend in Austin, Texas. And I will tell you that every kind of vision I had planted and written and put down came to life this weekend. So always, always, always know what you're going for. And it does not matter what other people think you should want. Your vision, own it, go for it. If it says, people thought it was silly that my vision was walking my son to school in the morning, but for me, it was everything in the world. So this ties closely to number 2, and that is you have to run your own race. So like I said, I had run several marathons, but there's never one time where I went into a race or a marathon thinking, I could possibly win this race. Like, I never thought that, because I wasn't fast. I was okay, but I wasn't going to win the race. And your business is just the same. This is your business. This is your race. So if you start seeing yourself as, following what other people are doing or watching other lanes, you're going to start to struggle. So after I had quit my job and there's like this fuzz. Do you guys hear that fuzz? Okay. There we go. Okay. Is it me? Can you hear that? Okay.
I hear it every now and then. It's not bad though at all on our end. So.
Okay, I'm just gonna go with it. Okay. So things were awesome that first year. I'd quit my job, and I had learned that I earned a trip to the Bahamas. I was going to take my family to the Bahamas. And right before that trip, I hit 1 star. So things were just fantastic. I was working this little part-time job. I was taking my family on trips. My business was going, upward. It was successful. And then after that trip, I came home and I started to watch what other people were doing. I started to watch my friend who was able to retire, and then he allowed his wife to retire. And I watched my friend, advance in rank, and I watched all these other people. And the more I watched other people, my business started to retreat. And I dropped my 1 star rank, and I probably by the end of the year, I was back to a diamond rank. And for 2 years, I was a diamond coach because I was so focused on what everybody else was doing that I lost sight of my own business. And so I did what any, unsuccessful coach would do at the time. I hired a life coach, and I needed to figure out what I needed to do. I needed to figure out the direction I was going. And so after working with her for a few months, she looked at me and she said, Rhonda, I think you should quit your part-time job. And I was really scared because I wasn't quite at the point I thought I was ready to do that yet. And she said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to your husband and tell him that you're thinking about quitting your job and you just need his blessing. So I did. I went to him and I said, I'm thinking about quitting my job and I don't really need your blessing, but I didn't say that, but this is what I need to do. And he looked at me and he said, Rhonda, I don't care what you do, just make it work. And it was in that moment that I knew that this was my business, my race. Whatever I did was all contingent about me. Nobody else determined my future but me. And that was the best thing he ever said to me, because at the beginning of the year, I just went for it. I stopped worrying about what other people were doing. I stopped worrying about rank. I stopped worrying about titles and money and everything. I went from a diamond coach to a 5-star diamond coach in the span of the year. And by the end of the year, I was an elite coach because I stopped focusing on what everybody else was doing and I ran my own race. Number 3 is consistency. So all the while, even during that dark comparison period, I still showed up every single day. And, rank and titles, they're great. It's fine. But really the thing I'm most proud about is that for 60 consecutive months, I have made Success Club. That means for every single month I've been in this business, I have helped at least 3 people. I show up every single day. That means every single morning I get up and I journal. And I read, personal development every single day, because if I don't work on myself, I can't help other people. And I do my workout every single day, because if I don't do my workout, how can I expect other people to do it? I drink Shakeology every single day, because if I don't drink Shakeology, how can I expect other people to do it? And I do this with consistency. I never miss, especially personal development. If you're going to skip one thing, don't skip that. You have to work on yourself every single day, and it's amazing the person you'll become in this business. I track who I talk to every single day. It's the most important thing that you can do is to create that consistency, because some people you have talked to maybe a year ago aren't ready, but maybe this year they are. So make sure that you're consistent in what you do every single day. Follow those 3 vital behaviors and never, ever, ever skip personal development. And lastly, number 4, and I feel like this is probably the most important intangible, and that's having gratitude. And I saved this one for last because I really feel it is the foundation of our business. Without having any kind of gratitude, you're going to want to quit when you struggle, and you're going to struggle. I promise you, you will. It's just part of the business, and you have to learn that that's part of the thing. So I had a life coach, but I also decided I needed a mentor in the business. I needed somebody who knew the business that could help me with my struggles. And so I actually contacted Monica Ward, who she's actually a founding coach. She didn't really know me. She had no business helping me, to be honest. And I just decided to be brave and bold and reach out to her. And for whatever reason, she accepted, which was pretty awesome. And the first thing she ever told me is she said, you will never have more in this business until you're grateful for what you have right now. Because before I was so upset and that I wasn't making the money, but I wasn't grateful for the amount of money I was making at the time. So when I got really good with where I was then, that's when the money started to come. She also told me that you have to find gratitude in everything that you do. No matter where you are in your life, there is something to be grateful about. And when you can shift your attitude, you cannot be a state of lack and gratitude at the same time. And that shifted everything for me. And it really became ingrained in me. And this is how I know that I have gratitude. So I want to tell you a little story. So behind me is my new office that I put together this past year. It's all this branding exercise I went through. But I did it when it was very hot towards the end of the summer, and I was painting my office, and I turned the AC way down one day, and I was working all day painting, and we were eating dinner. Actually, let me backtrack. I had gone to the store to buy some paint. And when I was buying the paint, the lady said, would you like this big blue bucket? And if you buy this paint and donate $5, I'll give you this big blue bucket. And I'm thinking, what do I want with that? But it's for a great cause. It was for the Children's Hospital Network. So I did. I came home and my son said, Mom, what is that big blue bucket for? I said, I don't know. Just go put it in the corner. So I painted all day, really, really hot, AC way down. We're eating dinner, and my son looks up to the ceiling and said, Mommy, why is there water coming from the ceiling? And I'm like, oh, crap. And as we go, and my husband panicked, water just starts gushing from the ceiling. I had turned the AC down way too low, and it kind of exploded, and the ceiling was leaking everywhere. And in that moment, I yelled to my son. He said, honey, go get that big blue bucket. And he ran over, and he put the big blue bucket down, and it started to collect the water. And I looked at the bucket, and I saw Children's Hospital Network. And in that moment, nothing mattered. It didn't matter that my ceiling was leaking, because I knew that it was just a leaky ceiling. There's people out there who have lost a child. There's people out there that have children that are sick, and they would do anything for a leaky ceiling. So I chose gratitude in that moment. And so the next day, the repairman came out, and he said, you know, we're going to have to replace your whole entire AC unit. It's going to cost this much money. And I looked at my husband, and I said, I got this. I made it work. Because of Beachbody, I was able to pay cash for that whole thing, because I showed up every single day. I chose gratitude. I was consistent. I followed, and I ran my own race. And I had a vision of where I wanted to go. So I just want to leave you with this. Have a vision for where you want to go, you know, and like I said before, don't worry about what it is. If it means something to you, it's important, and that's what you should go for. I mean, honestly, like right now, the biggest vision I have for myself is to have a house that faces the sunrise. And for some people, they don't quite get that. They don't understand the importance of that. But for me, it's everything. So for whatever it is for you, have that vision and write it down and make it so strong that you become that vision. Number 2 is to run your own race. You know, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. Everybody starts at this business at a different time. So they may be in it for a year, and you cannot compare your level to somebody else's when everybody is different. Everybody has different circumstances. So be focused on what you can do, and that's all you can do. And number 3 is to be consistent. Show up every single day. Work harder on yourself than you do anybody else, and you'll go very far in this business. And then lastly, and especially because it's November, it's my favorite month of the year, choose gratitude every single day. Find something to be grateful for. This business will rock your socks off if you allow it. It will do things that beyond you could ever imagine if you allow it. But you have to be grateful for the little things in order to have more. So that's all I got.
I love it. I love it. Love it. So if you are my personally sponsored, you know, I had you guys do the gym test. So Rhonda's a pearl. So that's what right? You're a whole bunch of pearls.
Shocking.
I know, but I love that. I love that. I do have pearl in me. I do have some pearl. I have a quick question. You talk about, you track who you talk to each day. Do you have a system for that? Clearly I'm an emerald. So do you have a system for a specific tracking system you enjoy?
I have a system, and it's probably not well, for me, it works. I've tried, you know, my husband is emerald 100%. He created the most amazing spreadsheet for me with color codes and you know, follow-ups and color codes. They pop up, and it was so my tracking system is this fancy dancy little notebook. And every single day at the beginning of the day, I write the date. I write, you know, my numbers, kind of like who my followers, how many followers, I track numbers. And then I just write in notes every single day. And so and I never throw them away. I know that's probably not the most efficient thing, but I could go back to 2011 and find out who I talked to and who I sent a friend request to, because I do it every single day. In fact, one of my most successful coaches, I was just curious to see if I'd written anything. And I looked back, and it was like probably 2011, our first conversation. And I wrote these little notes about her and why I found her on Facebook. And it's just kind of funny to go back and read that. So that's what I do.
I love systems, but I'm a pen and paper girl. So I love that. That makes me happy.
Good, awesome.
Spreadsheets stress me out.
That's so awesome to hear. I'm so glad.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I like hearing that. Does anybody have any questions, any feedback or anything for Rhonda? You can unmute. I muted most everybody, so sorry. So you can unmute yourself if you have any questions that you want to ask her or any feedback. Nothing? No, I love it. Because you told me that story on the plane about having gratitude, and that has stuck with me. And I've had to remind myself a couple of times of that conversation that we had that day. Cause I know that, it's hard. It's so hard to not be in the moment and to not be grateful where you are, because we do create these visions and we create these goals for ourselves. And so when you're not attaining them, it's just like, and you can feel so defeated so much. And so to be grateful for where you are and to allow that to sink in is something that I for sure need to continue to work on. So I absolutely love that.
Yeah. And I would just say to be patient too, because as long as you do it, it's coming. I mean, it's coming. It is absolutely coming, but sometimes actually every time, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And you're supposed to learn from every situation that you are. So even the times that are struggle for me are probably some of the best times, because that's the opportunity for growth and learning. So yeah, absolutely. You're no matter how long it takes, you'll get there eventually. I promise.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so very much, Rhonda, for joining us. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And I will see you tonight.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be in touch. So thank you, Natalie. You guys have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
All right, my friends. So I just wanted to go over a couple of quick things. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Like I said, I sat next to her on the way to leadership last month. And it was just like, I got the warm fuzzies just sitting next to her. And like, I told her, I was like, I need more of you in my life. Like, I need to be with you more and hear you more. And I need your voice in my head more. So we all need certain things in our life. And so whatever that is that you're lacking, or whatever you feel like does give you the warm fuzzies, maybe it's something totally different, but seek that out, you guys. She mentioned getting a mentor, and they can mentor you from afar, like just if you're following them and you're gaining that inspiration and that perspective from someone. Do that, and do that every single day, because I promise you it's going to help. And like she said, it's coming. And I've always said, because I was told this by someone before, like the only way that you can fail in this business, period, is if you quit. Like, you can't fail if you are still here and if you're showing up every day. You may not be where you want to be. You may not be growing as quickly as you want. You may not be getting the followers you want. You may not be having the connections, whatever it is, but you're not failing. You're just growing. So always remember that. The only way to fail and be like totally fail is to quit. So just don't quit. Okay, wanted to go over a couple of things really, really quickly with you guys. Like I said, there were 16 of us at the Platinum Edge, which, holy cow, this was seriously the best experience I have personally ever had with my team. It was just, it's hard to put into words. And I actually told Amy Marchbanks, I said, I've had, Rhonda talked about a vision. I've had this vision for what I want as a team for so long. Like, I've had it and I didn't know how to do it. And when we broke off last year and started the Iron Legacy, like, I had this vision that I wanted. And this weekend, like, it was crystal clear to me, like it's happening. Like it's truly happening. Like, it's a team of people who there was not one bit of drama. There was no negativity. There was just, we laughed. I cried a little bit. Like, it was just women lifting women, and it can be men too, but it's just positivity, people lifting each other up, iron sharpening iron, and just, it's so hard to put into words. And that's, again, I talked to a couple people who this was their first event to come to. And I was like, now do you get why I say, like, it's so hard for me to explain something in words that's intangible. It's being here, it's being a part of that, and it's being present. And I'm telling you, I'm hoping that it was life-changing for those who attended. And if it wasn't, like, I know it was for me, like there were so many life-changing moments. Just being in a room with just our team was one of the biggest blessings. So I want you guys to know, like, I am so proud of this team. I am so proud of the culture we have built. I've been told by people who are not even in our team that they can see our culture. I mean, it's really, really cool. So I love what we're doing. One thing that we talked about was our training system. And I think, again, and I've talked about before, like, I'm going to tell you, like, it doesn't matter what training we have in place because the information is there for everybody. But, and someone that really wants to do this business, they're going to make it happen no matter what. They may not even look at our training, but they're going to just go and they're going to put their nose down and they're going to go for it. So it doesn't even matter the trainings that we have in place because the information is available to everyone. With that being said, like, obviously we want to continue our trainings. We want to establish the culture of helping our coaches and our new, people that join us. So we kind of brainstormed a couple of different ideas. And I think what we have decided to do is we are still going to do a live Rock the Basics training the first Monday of every month. Okay. Let me back up. The first Sunday of every month, we are going to start hosting a new coach webinar. So these are for any coaches that have joined. We are going to kind of do a getting started right call via Zoom. So it'll be a live call. I've done it a couple of times with new coaches, and it really, especially the first time I ever did it, it really, really helped. Solidified our culture, solidified the expectations, solidified, like, Success Club is your goal and Emerald is your goal, and here's exactly what you need to do this first week. Like, it really, really helped them to get started, like, take off the minute that they started. So that's the first thing, is the first Sunday of every month is a live new coach webinar. The second thing is the first Monday of every month is when our live new coach Rock the Basics is going to start, which is the same training we've been doing. It's a 7-day training, Monday through Sunday, right? So it's just 7 days of information with an action item every single day. We're going to be doing that. And then what we're also going to have from now on is we are going to have a group that is the exact same training as in the live Rock the Basics, but it's just going to stay open. And it's to where if you have a coach that joins on, the second Monday of the month, so they just missed the training, you go plug them into the ongoing Rock the Basics training, and it's going to be open. And I'm going to redo the graphics to where instead of like day 1, day 2, it's step 1, step 2, step 3, so that all they have to do is go to the photos, click on step 1, and there's their training for that step. They can finish it in 1 day if they want. They can finish it in a week if they want, however they want. And again, this is going to help us appeal to all different learning styles. Some people really want the community, and some people are like, okay, just give me the information, I'm ready to go. So this way it appeals to both. And so what we're also going to do then is after that first week of that live Rock the Basics, we are going to start doing like a 5-day push to Emerald, to where we really talk about what Emerald is. We dig a little bit deeper into Emerald rank, and we talk about social media in there. And that's just going to be 5 days of just, like I said, just information so that they get it, because they're doing all these action items ahead of time. That 7-day Rock the Basics. So now if we have a 5 days to where it's just, information, and that they can really get why they need to be Emerald and what happens when they do, it'll really, really help. So I just wanted to share that here so that I didn't have to do this whole long post and try to explain it and everything. I figured we're together. Let's just knock it out. So do you guys have any questions about that? Any feedback? Do you guys think that's a good idea, bad idea? You can tell me either way. Good idea, Susie? Okay, good. Anything? By the way, you can unmute yourselves now because you can.
I kind of want to just make a comment about the Platinum Edge and how you were talking about it and how great it was. I personally, I met up with somebody that night, and it was just, she had a lot of negativity. I don't know if she was going through something, but I literally had to leave her house because the weekend was just so positive. Like you said, there was no negativity the whole weekend. It was just such an uplifting, positive experience. I literally had to run from negativity. And so it just kind of like puts into perspective, just like staying positive and giving gratitude and being thankful for that experience and the positivity from the weekend. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. I know. And I found myself doing that. Like I've been talking to my husband, and with different things. And it's like, I just can't go there. Like, that's not where I'm going to invest my time and my energy, like I know, right, Nicole? We talked about that this weekend too. But it's true, and when you surround yourself with like-minded individuals, that's what's going to happen. Like, it just happens naturally. Even if you're feeling down in the dumps and, you're going through a rough time, to have this group of people that lifts you up. And, I felt it. And, Susie, you might be able to maybe you felt something different, but I just felt like it was so genuine. Like, every person that was there, I just felt like it was so genuine. I mean, from our team, I don't know about other teams. They may not be, but like that, everybody was just so genuine and just, I don't know. And to be in a room full of 16 women and there not be one bit of drama, like, trust me, I'm around women a lot and there's always drama, always, in every setting I've ever been in until this weekend. So it was just a huge blessing to me. Huge. All right. Anything else? You guys have any questions about anything else? No? Okay. Well, that's all I have then. If you guys need anything, as usual, you know where to find me. I will try. So at the Platinum Edge, there was so much information, as you guys know, and I'm not about to just start bombarding you with stuff. So I will try my best to kind of give you tidbits here and there. But if you need anything or have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me. I just don't want it to be where I vomit a ton of information and you're like, seriously, okay, we get it. Yes, you learned a lot at Platinum Edge. I'm over it. So if you need anything or have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to any of us, really, that were there. Susie, you said you were going to post something in there. Was that about the YouTube thing? Is that the...
Yeah, so I took pictures of every slide that he showed. So I got to get those on my computer, and then I'll put them in a file, and
that'd be awesome.
I'll put it in the Iron Biz Builders thing.
Perfect. All right. Well, you guys have a blessed day and an awesome week. Have a very, very happy Thanksgiving. I mean, I'll tell you guys all that later, but since I get to see you face to face, have a very happy Thanksgiving with your loved ones. Okay. I mean, in Canada, you guys already had your Thanksgiving, but down here. Anyway, y'all have a great day. We'll talk soon. Bye.
Thanks, Sam.